I'm okay. Let's do it. I think I was a writer for a while, but now I'm an artist, and it's wonderful. Well, I think I'm just finding that out. At this wonderful old age of 67, I'm finding out who I really am. I was born in Birmingham and my family moved down to the southwest of England, and then my mother died and I went to boarding school, and I went off after that to do nursing in London. I didn't really fit with that and I didn't really want to be a nurse, so I was using all the excuses not to go out and get a job. So I went to lots of classes like you do at that age. I went to pottery and I went to creative writing, and I was already writing. I started blogging back in 2010 onwards. There's an old blog out there from 2010 which says a lot about me, sallyanndyer.wordpress.com. So then somebody took me to a painting class and it was watercolours, and I did this watercolour of some tulips. And then I did a course online called Find Your Joy. Basically, the tenets of that course are: don't try too hard, don't try to make a picture, do what you love, and don't do what you don't love. The result of that is what you see today, just the freedom of expressing oneself intuitively. I suppose it was from that moment I never looked back. I basically kept trying to go to painting classes to find out more about painting, because I'd never done it as a child. I don't remember doing it even at school. But now I would call myself an artist. Before, I think I was a writer for a while, but now I'm an artist, and it's wonderful. It kind of just happened to me. Didn't really plan it at all, which is kind of how our lives are, really. I wanted something to do in my last useful years. I was doing paper and I was doing canvases, and I started doing some bits of wood that a carpenter had left at home for me. And I knew that I was getting too many pieces to keep in the house. And I knew that the next thing I wanted to do was to be able to exhibit. Part of being an artist, a creative, is you want people to see it. And I think when I was writing, it was the same. I wanted people to read it. I kind of still think I'm a bit of a hobby painter. I'm not really a professional. But because this wonderful space came up and I was able to get hold of it, it's become my gallery. It's hard to start. It's hard to start a painting. You've got this blank canvas, you don't really know what to do with it. The first thing is I choose a colour that I really fancy. So that's why my work is so crazy, it's so vibrant, because I use the paint straight out of the tubes. I don't like mixing because it desaturates the colour. I like the clash, I like the fact that they set each other off. But sometimes I start with a red, or a red and a cobalt blue is very popular too, and I'll just start with those, and I'll put those onto the canvas and onto the paper, or onto the board, and just move them around with a palette with a great big scraper. Do I want to do a dull sort of a moody painting, or do I want to do like a really bright light? Look at Van Gogh's sunflowers and that blue background. Well, I think colours have different resonance. I don't attach great sort of symbolic meaning to them. I know some people do. But obviously, if you're painting with a red, it can be very fiery, it can be very passionate, it can be very angry. I've done pictures when I've felt grief or when I've felt anger, and they always have that emotion in them. Different emotions do call for different colours. And also, if you want to do something calmer, you'd want to choose more pastel type colours. Maybe you'd want to make it more harmonious. You'd want to maybe mix the colours and make it less saturated. So they do naturally somehow speak to you of certain emotions. So yeah, just start with the colours and let the colours decide. It was like a child, and I think that's part of the joy of painting and finding the fun in it, is being able to paint like a child and not think too much. It's got to come out of a place of play and a place of, joy. And so, I mean, you can tell I do love it, and it makes me happy. And that's why I say this is who I was meant to be. But I guess, what was the question again? So I haven't been painting for very long, maybe solidly for about 5 years, maybe. I haven't actually looked back to see. The big thing is what's happened is I've been able to make bigger paintings look whole. That's the main thing, because before it would be, if I did anything that was A2 size, like this size, it would just be too much mess. It would be complete chaos and no composition. And then that's when I would cut it up and say, this bit here looks nice, this bit here looks nice, this bit here looks nice. And they can be little pictures, and then the rest can go for cards, which is what ends up with all the cards I've got. I loved getting a piece of paper, squeezing the paint straight onto the paper, getting a big scraper and then scraping it across and seeing what happened. And then that would be a finished painting for me. But now I will use that as a starting point, and then I will put marks on. I will scribble. I'll get pens and pencils and charcoal and pastels and make marks on it, and I'll stick collage on it, and I'll then do something else. So there'll be more layers now. Abstract art is a difficult thing. Sometimes people get it and sometimes they don't. This is my favourite. Actually, the original is a canvas. It had the layers and it had the bits underneath and it had bits of collage on it, and it had all these different interesting bits and a bit of white on the top and the orange, and I was very pleased when I finished it. This is now a print of it because I'm not selling the original. It's nice to sell paintings, but it's not about that for me. It's about being a hub, and I want people to want to come here and just look at the paintings and enjoy it, even if they can't afford to buy any. It's fine. I just feel like it should be a gathering point. It's just an exciting opportunity for me. I've never done anything like this, coming out into the public domain and saying, look, this is me. So everybody's welcome to come and have a look. There's a note on the door saying it's a Marmite shop, and if you don't like it, that's fine, but some of you will. And it's at 19 King Street, next to Bread and Honey, the coffee shop in the centre of Leicester, well, just on the edge going up towards New Walk. And we're open Wednesday to Saturday, 11 to 4. So everyone is welcome to come and see this crazy gallery that I have put together. And it's like being in a dream, I tell you, it's like being in a dream. I mean, it's a big question, isn't it? So it is something, it makes me chew it over. I'll try to be more energetic. Da, da. I'm not just energetic, I'm quiet sometimes.